Hello. Okay, so I went over the video that I did with my girlfriend Jaleisha in my mock therapy session. So there were some things that I did notice that I did well, and some things that I noticed I kind of missed the mark on. Um, go that's one thing right there, saying I need to work on that. I do that a lot when I am thinking or when I'm not sure what I'm going to say. I've noticed that I want to say it again. It is a filler. So I need to work on that. I I did not state the stage of change that she was in. So at that moment in our work, she was in the active stage. So she was actively working on her goals. We were going over what her goals were, how everything was going, and then we were creating more goals based off of what progress she was making and what she needed to continue doing to further get to the end goal in sight. So she was going through the active stage. I do realize that I did miss the mark on that. I also did not go over I did not go over where is it? I did not go over termination of services. So I did not go over where we were in within our sessions. I pictured us being in, kind of the middle of the 12 proposed sessions that we were going to have for her treatment. I did not go over what ending treatment would look like, preparing her for that, being on her own, being able to be successful and not feel like she needs to rely on me to either bounce ideas off of or think that think that maybe I need to tell her what to do or where to go. I did go over our next steps in the process, which would be coming back in 2 weeks at 7 o'clock. So I did solidify our next appointment. I just did not go over termination of services. I did plan for our future session. So I missed the mark on one of those, but then I hit the mark on another. So I'm I'm happy with that. I can work on that for sure. This this assignment for me was fairly easy because I do talk to my friends a lot and just kind of see where things are. I've had a lot of people tell me that this is something that you either have or you don't. And I have been told that I ask a lot of open ended questions in life, anyways. So that is another thing that I feel I did well with this session with Jaleisha was I did ask a lot of open ended questions. I tried to stay away from asking the yes or no questions. I tried to ask more questions that would get her to really think about what she was doing or what her goals were, something to kind of get her moving to figure out what her next steps would be and kind of where she was going. We did. I did do well on active listening as well. I tried my best to keep eye contact with her. I am a very talkative person. I talk with my hands a lot. So that for me was easy. I do nod my head a lot in conversation. I feel that I do a lot of active listening in real life outside of school situations. So I feel like I am a good active listener, just in real life, as well as on the video that I did with my girlfriend. I did try to, in certain places of the video, I did try to repeat what she was saying so that she knew that I was hearing her. I was actively listening. I was kind of validating her feelings. I hear you saying that you need somebody to help be an accountability partner, and you're a single mom, and that can definitely be hard, and you work 40 hours a week, and you're going to school, and you have all of these things, and that I was actively listening, and I was hearing what she was saying to kind of confirm that I am taking it all in, and it's what she's saying is not falling on deaf ears. I definitely do need to continue my studies with everything. Therapy is something that is my goal. I do want to be a licensed master social worker with therapy as my practice. I do need to work on building my own confidence. Things like this is easy for me to do when it's a friend. I know it is going to be much more difficult when it is a stranger. In my real life now, in my working life, I do talk to strangers all day long, but I've also been doing it for 18 years. So I'm very comfortable in that format. And because this is something very different, I am aware that I will definitely need to build up my confidence and realize that I do know what I'm doing. I am a good listener. I can repeat things back. I do understand what people are saying. I am very empathetic to other people. I just need to work on building my confidence, but I also am aware that that does come with time and with practice and actually being in the field. And a lot of these things you can't learn from school, you learn from physically doing. And it's either you're on the job doing it or you're practicing a session, just like we just did, and watching the video back and critiquing yourself, finding the good things that you did, finding the things that you could do better with. So I also did well at talking about the accountability partner with her, having an accountability partner that's at her level, as well as showing her kids that this is something that you need to do. She has two boys that are both in school. One of them is 13. So he's kind of at that age where he's, not digging school so much, but he knows it's something that he needs to do, but he's trying to slack off sometimes. As a friend, I'm aware of that. So bringing him into this, kind of going over how she could use him as an accountability partner on the days that he is home to show him that these are things that you need to continue to do in your life. You may not like doing all of those things. I don't particularly care for recording myself on a video and, having other people watch it, but it is something that's necessary. I have a goal. I need to meet that goal. So I myself am showing my children that things are, you have to do things in life that you don't necessarily care to do or feel confident doing, but you need to do them. So kind of going over that with her and letting her know that this is part of life and showing her son that, yeah, we have to sit down and do our homework. So let's sit down and do it together. And when we are successful at these goals that we make, we can reward ourselves. You might not be able to buy, she said she likes purses. You can't necessarily buy a Louis Vuitton purse every month because you've successfully done your homework, but you can take your kids to the movies when everybody has done the things that they should do, or you can reward them with, a trip to the pool or whatever. There are certain things that, you've met these goals. So what do you get? Well, you can get something out of it. Now, that's not to say you have to get a reward for every single thing you did, but for those things that are big, her son Joshua is in 8th grade this year, and he's about to become a freshman in high school, and that's a big deal. So high school is the real world. You have to really, get going. So her showing things that she's doing to become more successful can be a good uh, example for her kids as well. We also did set a new goal for her of having me time. And with that reward system, making sure you're doing those things that you're supposed to be doing and rewarding yourself on some sort of a realistic scale when you do persevere through those things that you're kind of, mentally fighting yourself through. Maybe you had a hard week and you don't want to sit down and do that hour of homework, or you don't want to sit down and do that test and I'll just do it tomorrow. But you feel so much better when you're done with it that, yeah, maybe I do deserve a reward. Maybe I'll go to 7-Eleven and get myself that Slurpee that I've been avoiding because I don't want all the sugar. But you know what? Today it's okay. I'll get a small one. It gives me that reward for doing something that I wanted and needed to do. We also created another goal of a brain dump before bed, and so that she can get some sleep, which she has told me since then that her personal therapist has also told her to do this. Her personal therapist has also recommended to get a notebook, put it by her bed when she wakes up at night and has these crazy thoughts, write them down so she can go back to bed. So that for me was affirming and showing that what I'm kind of thinking, or along the lines of what we're thinking and what we're talking about, that I'm not, crazy far off from what things that are actually being recommended. So that to me did help. Um, there's that again. That it did help affirm what I was thinking. So that was good for me to hear. I definitely can improve my timing. I did not know that Zoom does not keep track of the minutes that you're on. So I do know that our video went over, as is this one, by 1 minute right now. I do know that our video went quite a bit over. And I did have the option to cut it down, but I feel like I did a good job, and I don't necessarily want to cut it down. I feel like there were some good things in the video, and I wanted to keep it. So I'm aware that it did go over. I did not know that Zoom doesn't count the minutes until after you're done doing the recording. So definitely keeping track of my time. I can set a timer, be more aware of, what time things are happening, and be more on the ball with that. So I did learn that as well. I also did do a good job, which I did not realize I was doing when I was doing it. So go me. I was walking her through kind of what she was thinking with her scrubs and getting rid of certain things. At first, she said she wears them all. And I kind of walked her through what that looks like. You wear all of them. You have 11 to 13 pairs. Okay. You do, your laundry every couple weeks. That's about 3 weeks worth of uniforms. And so she realized there's actually a stack, or I think she said 4 pair, 5 pair, something like that, that she doesn't wear at all, that she keeps folded. So I kind of walked through her realization of, maybe I don't wear all of these. Maybe this is why I'm holding on to these things, because I see those things and I remember, oh, this was my first pair of scrubs when I got this job. And so I want to keep those because it makes me feel good. But you don't necessarily have to keep those because it makes you feel good. Just because you don't have that physical thing anymore doesn't invalidate the memory. It doesn't make that memory go away. So I thought that was great as I was rewatching my video, because I honestly did not realize I was doing that I did just walk her through and help her realize that she doesn't use as much as she thinks she does, kind of setting it out to actually see what it is. One last thing that I do feel like I did well was I did use self disclosure a little bit when we were talking about shoes. I do love shoes. And I did go through kind of when she was talking about having a big bin of shoes, how, yeah, I love shoes too. I have these shoes. I've got this pair, this pair, this pair, this pair. They all kind of look similar. I could get rid of those, whatever. It's not super personal, but it is a little bit personal. It is surface level. And it's that I do feel like is an acceptable level of self-disclosure for somebody that is a client. Even though I know she is a friend, I would definitely feel comfortable sharing my love of shoes with somebody that is a client and not a friend, and keep that professional boundary without feeling like I did overstep it. Thank you so much for giving us this assignment. I did learn a lot about myself. I appreciate it. Thank you.